Hi everybody. I know you're not used to seeing me in our videos, but here I am. Pardon my very casual attire, but there is no heat in my apartment today, which is why I'm sporting my very warm Loomis Chafee hat. So anyway, this is a short video which should prepare you to watch Hamlet. It's an introduction to the characters and a teeny bits of reference to the plot. The version that we're going to be watching and the images you're looking at are from the Royal Shakespeare Company's production of Hamlet with David Tennant. You'll see all the actors in a minute. As a note, it's a modern dress production, which means it's not set in the period in which it was written, which is, you'll see the costumes in a moment. So let's dive in and meet some of these characters. So we'll start with Hamlet, our protagonist. He's mourning the death of his father. His mother, Gertrude, married her brother-in-law very shortly after her husband died. Both Gertrude and Claudius ask Hamlet not to return to school. Hamlet's a young man. He's a university student. So he decides to stay in Denmark. He is being closely watched by everybody because it appears that he's going mad. And that's sort of one of the big questions of the play, is whether or not he is. Okay, next, King Hamlet. So you would think that he wouldn't appear in the play, but he in fact does appear. The story goes that he was poisoned accidentally by a snake bite while he was napping in his garden, but he returns in Act 1 to tell a different story. Just as another little note, in this particular production, the ghost of King Hamlet and his brother Claudius are played by the same actor. So don't be alarmed in the next slide when you realize that, oh look, it's him again. This is Claudius. He is married to Hamlet's mother, and he is now the King of Denmark. He says that he wants to be a good father to Hamlet, but he has some secrets to hide, which you will learn about mostly in Act 1. Gertrude, Hamlet's mother, married her brother-in-law very quickly after her husband's death. There is an interesting and tense relationship between Hamlet and his mother. He has no patience for the decisions that she's made, and that will play itself out over the course of the 5 acts. Horatio. Horatio is an important guy. He's Hamlet's best friend. He's really the only reliable guy in the play. He appears right in the beginning and is the first person to have an encounter with the ghost of Hamlet's father. And he's alongside Hamlet all the way through to the bitter end. Ophelia. Oh, Ophelia. Ophelia is sort of Hamlet's love interest. She really sort of gets used by Hamlet and a lot of other characters in the play, but we'll talk more about that later. So there is some sort of romantic history between Hamlet and Ophelia. Her family is prominent in the play. Her father, Polonius, and her brother, Laertes, are also important characters. And let's meet them now. Okay, Polonius. Polonius is an advisor to the king. It's one of his jobs in the play to keep an eye on Hamlet and figure out why and if he really is going mad. And as I mentioned before, he is the father of Ophelia and Laertes. And here's Laertes. Ophelia and Laertes are brother and sister. You see Laertes in the beginning of the play and towards the end of the play. He is a similar age to Hamlet. He's a student, and in one of the first scenes he leaves Denmark to return to go back to university in Paris. When he comes back, as this note mentions, he discovers that things have gone terribly wrong in his absence. Okay, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. These are school friends of Hamlet's. You'll see that they turn out to be fair-weather friends. They're summoned to Denmark by the king and the queen to help them figure out what's going on with Hamlet. So those are the last of the relatively major players. There'll be more background and introductory information on Hamlet, but this should give you a good ground to stand on when you're watching the movie next week. Okay?